top of the morning. It's Pigsy. Yeah, I did try something out yesterday. It was a bit of a failure. I was wondering if I could record some paranormal activity in my flat, and it didn't work. It's a shame, to be honest. It was absolutely mad yesterday. Well, after I went to sleep, it wasn't really anything particular. It was hearing occasional noises and things, but that could be just thermodynamics. Maybe the property's cooling down and stuff like that. There was some type of thunderstorm that happened yesterday, some electrical storm, because I could hear it went, and it sounded a bit bizarre. That was something that happened. I did have it where I woke up and I really don't know if it's like the tinnitus or some bones in my ear, but it really feels like being blasted by vertigo suddenly. It's a very unusual experience because you wake up and then your ears are shrieking and you feel quite strange, like you're being shaken or something. But what I really wanted to do is see if is there anything connected to that experience when I have that kind of odd tinnitus. You know, is there any shadows moving around, or any kind of other beings that have tried to do something to my body or something? I don't know. Yeah, because the reason I wanted to do the actual recording in the first place is I've got a client that I visit regularly, okay, and he started to have weird paranormal activity. So when I'd go over there, the lights would sometimes flash in his room. And it's one of these fluorescent strip lights, but it's kind of these fluorescent type tube lights. I think they're not actually a strip; they're kind of in a wiggly shape, and that's a technical description. And they flicker. They flicker and act all weird, like they're going to blow out, and they don't know. It's still got the same light in there. It just acted weird when I was there. It did on a few occasions. So it could be the gas in there is unsettled or something, but then it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be an issue like that. So that's one thing, and then the dog started to bark at things that weren't there, and started to react weird. The dog has always been a bit odd with myself. It's friendly, it's just like this kind of guard dog. So if I come to the door, it'll bark its head off and run at the door, and yet it doesn't have any intention of doing anything. You know, it's not like it's aggressive. It's just saying, like, there's a bloke here. It's very protective over a young child, and that's it. But it's actually on a few occasions I had come out of his room. He was already settled down. And it was come over like I had just, broken through a window or something. So it was acting very strange, and it's been quite hot, the weather. And what he told me was that basically he wears pajamas, so his pajamas are buttoned up, and he had a cover over him. And it was hot. It was hot weather, but he couldn't figure it out that somehow he'd undone his buttons on his pajama top when he still had like a duvet cover. I said, well, maybe you did it when you was like asleep, you just felt hot and bothered, and you just thought, done something. And then I was thinking, well, maybe it's because they've kind of investigating him, So first they're doing a kind of an intelligence report. So when they're turning up, it's freaking the dog out. The dog probably associates me with them at some point. Or maybe they hide around me or something, or in me, who knows. And the strange stuff, like, is if things start happening to him, then I know that's a bit weird. It can be a bit concerning because some of the people I deal with have got health problems, and the last thing I'd want is something they do that affects them, like have a fit or something like that. Because I don't know what these what their plans are. They just seem to turn up quite a bit, really. And yeah, so I thought to myself, well, there might be some more activity going on. They'll probably come back to me at some point. And I thought, well, we might as well just sort of see if I can record it. I did set up earlier on a motion detector app, because I got up at 5 and I realised that this live stream thing didn't work, and also it's difficult at night. I just wanted to have a better vision, so basically see things a little bit better. And no, so that didn't work. So I tried a motion detector app, but it detected motion. It didn't show any pictures, so it's pretty crap, really. You know, it'd give me a log of movements detected, and I mean, there was a few that weren't me, and I was laid in my bed and I heard it go. It makes some sort of alarm noise, so something had knocked the sensor, which was interesting. It'd be nice to see if there was a picture there I could have a little analyse of. So yeah, I'll have a look at some equipment for paranormal stuff, but I'm not going to shell out loads and loads of money, because you can pay like 200 quid for some camera or more, and then you buy into all these old gizmos maybe you don't need. Possibly something to do like a voice recording apps that go off the range of human hearing and stuff like that would be interesting. Just see what there is and figure it out from there, really. So yeah, trying to think of anything else. And also plants. I was interested in plants, and I was thinking about can plants see us? And I think they can. They can sense where you are at some degree, and they can see the room at a level, but it's more in the sort of electromagnetic spectrum. I was wondering why they got these long hairs on their stems, because I've got this plant, and it was a mystery plant for a while, but then it eventually, basically, just the way it was growing, I could figure out what it was, and it turns out it's a datura. Because it's got long hairs on its stem, and the leaf pattern as well. I was sort of looking at everything like that. And it's quite a weird one, really, because I must have had about 20 datura seeds, right? And I put them in a pot. I laid them lightly on a pot, made it all a bit swampy, and put it in a sunny place. And it dried out, nothing happened. So I looked at the instructions or what it mentioned about the seeds, and I just repeated the same cycle, and nothing happens. And then I plant something completely different. I might have done it on the same day, I might have touched the soil, I don't know. But somehow I've transferred a seed from there into another completely different pot, and it started growing with a flipping cannabis plant I put in there. So it's very funny, actually, because you got the, I guess we could call one the angel weed and the other one's the devil's weed, because that's the names for it. At some point I'll probably use the datura as a part of an experiment. I might make some potion out of it. I've got to be very careful, because it sends people bonkers. I think I have the answer to it, though. If you have it as a fine powder from a seed, and people absorb it through the tongue more, so a bit like when you mix it with humus, you keep it on your tongue for a short while, and then you swallow, and that way the chemical effects, you see, because you need to regulate what you take in, and your tongue's pretty going to get the strongest dosage from your saliva, basically. If you washed it down with a drink and swallowed it, that'd probably be your weakest dosage. It goes to your stomach will start breaking it down, and then depending on what you've eaten as well will react with what goes on in your stomach. You know, some of it might get absorbed, some of it might come out of your body, and stuff like that. So just a small amount, like you look at the maximum dosage, say it was 8 seeds, and then you blend it up to a fine powder, and then you mix it in with your humus. So you make sure that's finely blended and mixed together. And no one takes the whole lot of humus. So the maximum dosage, So if somebody for some reason ate the whole bottle, which is unlikely, they'll get quite sick from it. But I wouldn't expect anyone to have eaten. It's a bit like buying vitamin pills and eating the whole bottle of vitamin pills. It just doesn't normally happen. I mean, somebody could get ill if they had that much vitamins. Probably iron and stuff will probably give them stomach cramps and they vomit. So yeah, basically look at the dosage. I'd have to try it out myself. So really want less than a seed they take in through their saliva glands, and it has their some psychoactive properties in there and delirium. I'll have to make some serious notes around it as well, so that people understand that this is a spiritual tool, and it's not necessarily recreational. It's more of a learning thing. So if they have an experience from it, it's to learn from that experience. It may be not a pleasant one, so that's why it's not like you're taking it and you're chilling out and forgetting all your worries, because it might actually just open the door up to something completely with all your anxieties in it or something like that. And then there's probably like safety notes would be be in a safe place, don't work for 24 hours, and other things like you know, if you've got a buddy there that can look out for you, would be better. My almost though, it won't be that strong. I can't imagine it happening at that level. But either so, it's probably worth having a buddy just in case you have it and you think it's sherbet or something, and then you try to have the whole lot of it. So I could make it more pleasant. I'd have to, like I say, look at the dosage, look at the maximum. Maybe I'll pull it back a bit, depending on how strong and potent it is, and then divide that by the whole volume. And then people's dosages are really low. They're like 100th of the bottle. Really, they're really like, you know, 5 grams or less than that sort of thing. And yeah, just take it from there. So I'm planning to do that with some of my other plants, is put the plants into my Ormus potions and powder and then sell them. And then you know, it's kind of like a kind of border between something. Somebody might say, well, are you selling drugs to people? I said, not really. They're kind of spiritual tools. They just fall in the band range of mild stimulants. I mean, it's the same way if you have caffeine. You know, if you could have enough caffeine, you'd go off on one. I think you'd probably have a heart attack or something. But you never have that much caffeine. It's such a small amount. It's you know, that's really what it's at. So it's not kind of like an upper. It's like it's kind of stimulant in some ways. It's really just to unlock that door, really, and then you can go off and meditate and do stuff like that. And also looking at short-term effects rather than long-term effects. I mean, long-term effects are fine, but just getting the balance right, really. If it makes somebody more creative or have great dreams and things like that, it's no problem. But if it starts giving a person extreme nightmares, or imagine if you're a bit of a daydreamer and your daydream has turned into things like monsters in your reality. Like you just kind of slip out of your conscious, and then suddenly the person around you turns into something else, like an insect or something. pretty messed up. And so yeah, it'd be interesting sort of stuff, and that's usually my cardinal rule, is I try the stuff that you sell, because I don't want to sell something that I'm not confident in as a product. And I can say, you know, I've had it. Somebody might say, well, that effect was really strong. I said, well, yeah, you as an individual, your whole body is a kind of its own chemistry factory and pharmacy and everything rolled into one. All the stuff's going on the inside, it's alchemy. So if you encounter something you've never had before, your body's got to figure out how to best use it. And that's why you take things at a minimal dosage, so your body becomes accustomed to the effects, and also you understand the impact of it. And that's the same for pharmaceutical stuff. There's no difference there, really. Only thing is they've tried to extract one element of it so that it's mildly effective rather than it's completely effective and it eradicates disease. If it does, they look at ways to make it weaker because they don't want people, they want some dependency on what they're giving, repeat customers and stuff. They don't want people that don't have any kind of connection to their industry. They take it and they never have to see them again. So that's all sort of that stuff. Anyway, this is me signing off and enjoying the sun a bit and chilling and everything else, and have a good one.